Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Aljax Art Studio. Tonight we are working on a nautical wheel. This is a project I've been working on for the last few days, and tonight we'll be adding layer number 3. As you can see around the center of the nautical wheel, I have this Scotch Painter's Blue tape. I really love this tape for protecting the art pieces that I work on. It's great because it does kind of keep the resin off of the other parts of the wood, and yet it allows me to easily peel off when I'm done. I'm going to walk you through what I do to work on my art projects. One brand that I really love is Moss Tabletop Epoxy Resin. This resin is a part A and a part B, equal parts that you mix, and you're going to mix for 3 minutes. And you're going to stir well, make sure that you scrape the sides. And as you see here, I have this silicone cup. It's a measuring cup. These silicone measuring cups are my go-to because not only am I reducing waste, but I'm able to reuse over and over. And it's really nice when you have to measure 2 equal parts when it's a measuring cup. And so I just pour the part A and the part B, and then I mix for 3 minutes, and then it's ready to go. Let's talk about paints. So depending on the kind of look you are going for, I love golden fluid acrylics. And as you can see with the stripes here, it lets you know that the color is translucent, meaning that it allows for you to be able to see through the water. And so I love working with translucent paints, but if you work with an opaque paint, which is a heavier density paint, you can use less of that paint to get a translucent effect. Another color that I really love is from Counterculturediy. It's called Tsunami. This color is very beautiful. It's like a greenish blue and one of my favorite colors to work with. But this is a Dispersion colorant from Counterculturediy. So what you want to do is you want to just pour a small amount of paint into your resin. The more translucent you want your color to appear in the ocean art, the less paint you put into your resin. You're going to mix well. So here I'm mixing a small amount of paint. And what I like to do is when I try to layer my ocean, I first will add a clear coat. And that way it allows for me to push my waves over the clear and not into the color. So here I'm going to add a thin layer of of clear. And I really enjoy dimensional art, so you don't have to necessarily start at the bottom. So here I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to start right there towards the bottom, but not quite at the bottom. And you can push it out, that way it doesn't roll towards the back of your painting. Okay. Okay, so I've already mixed some of that Tsunami, and I'm just going to lay it in. See, it's this beautiful greenish blue hue, and I just love this color so much. Okay, next I'm gonna mix some of my golden paint. It's golden. You're gonna squirt a little bit into your cup, add some resin. like I said, if you're trying to go for a more translucent look, you don't want to put a lot of paint into your resin. Just a couple of drops is good enough. Okay, so here I added a couple drops and I'm mixing my golden blue. Okay. You want to mix the color well before you lay it down so you don't get any streaks from the acrylic. I also love using pigment, so I change it up quite a bit. Just depends on what I'm feeling. I'm going to lay in some of your blue. And then I always love to add a touch of that deep ocean. I just think that just really makes for a beautiful dimensional painting. So we'll lay that color in and then we'll blend these colors a little bit so that the flow and the design is more beautiful. And then we'll do the waves. Okay, the last color I'm going to add is Amsterdam Acrylic. This is their Prussian blue and it is also translucent. That is one of my favorite colors. I use this blue in almost every ocean painting that I do. Again, you don't want to use a lot. You just want to, have a small couple drops. That's all you need, especially if you're using a small amount of resin like I am. You can see here, you want to mix well, scrape the sides. I tend to reuse all of my sticks, so even though they're not silicone sticks, sometimes I find the silicone sticks a little flimsy. I actually like to really use the popsicle sticks. They work best for me. But I do have the silicone cups and the silicone sticks, and I have a bunch of other goodies, including some of these paint colors and my favorite pigments in my Amazon storefront, which is in the description. So if you like this type of video, please hit the like button and subscribe, as I really hope to start releasing more and more process videos to walk you through the brands that I love, the colors that I use, and a bunch of tips and tricks. So that way, if you want to give it a try, you can start getting some Maxepoxy resin, because I believe that's one of the best resins on the market to create beautiful lacing effects. And then you can also get these wonderful colors. Some are through my Amazon storefront, others are colors that you have to order directly from the vendor. So Counterculturediy's Dispersion colorants, you'd have to order through their website, but I do have discount codes available for you to use. So under my description, you'll find the coupon codes to try out these products. Typically, I always wear a respirator to do resin art. I believe it's very important for your health to not breathe in the fumes when you're heating and torching. In order to move the resin and allow it to cure, you do have to heat it. So I recommend using a heat gun. I use two different heat guns. First I use a Wagner and then I use a Genesis. Both are available on my storefront. And then you also need a butane torch to pop the bubbles afterwards. So for this video, I'm not gonna wear a respirator. I am in my garage, so I have my garage door open, so there's a lot of ventilation. But please, please, always wear a respirator. It's very important for you. Like I said, I always wear a respirator, but for this video, so that you can hear me, I'm gonna go ahead and quickly do my thing by heating it with the heat gun and then torching it, and then I'm gonna exit the room so I can breathe, and then I'll be back. want a torch. Just lightly torch it. Okay. You don't want to over torch. I usually do one quick round, and then to get the air bubbles out, I try to make sure I don't have any hair or dust. I think I see something in this, so I'm going to try to get it out. I think it's still okay. I'm not sure. I can't tell. Yeah. Okay. So one thing that I do fight with is dust. And sometimes it feels like it's a constant battle, but other times I feel like I get lucky. Okay, next. Okay, you can't see this brand, but it is ArmorArt white pigment. As you can see, it's well loved. I will try to post a picture of this on another video or get a brand new bottle so that you can see the brand. But I swear by this brand for my lacing. So if you love my lacing, then I highly recommend getting ArmorArt white pigment. With ArmorArt white pigment, you are going to want to experiment with different heat gun nozzles, and different formulas for how much of the white pigment you want to add to your resin. I really believe it's specific to the artist as to what works for them. In Virginia, I deal with temperature changes because I've moved my studio to be in the garage and it's not heated. And so I noticed that, you know, as the fall gets colder and winter comes, it's a lot harder for me to work with the resin because my working time is decreased since the temperatures are so cold. You do want roughly 70 degrees is like that perfect temperature that makes resin happy. And then because the resin is happy, it allows for a lot longer working time. And I don't struggle with issues with the resin trying to cure too fast or, you know, other issues related to temperature. So 70 degrees. I wish I lived in Florida. I think it'd be a lot easier just to have a garage that remains semi-cool. But in Virginia, I don't have that luxury, but it's okay. In another video, I'll walk through what you can do in a situation like that, because I've come up with some hacks that work for me, and I think they might work for you. Okay, so you're gonna mix your ArmorArt with your resin, and then I'm gonna lay in my little wave. It's kind of a lot of white, more white than I wanted to use, but we'll just make it flow. It'll be pretty. Okay, so we walked through a few heat guns that I use. I also use the Seek 1 heat gun. And like I said, you just have to try different nozzles and they each give different effects. You want to slowly push it out. And then you want a torch. I'm gonna try this again. I actually torch more than once. Some artists, they really don't recommend that, but it works for me. I feel like it breaks up the cells a little bit more. It gives it some cool effects. But I don't do it right away. I give it like a minute and then I'll do it again. So something I want to talk about are my gloves. These are gloves I just ordered off of Amazon. I'm going to add them to my storefront, but they have a nitrile. It's the same stuff as a nitrile exam glove, and so the resin doesn't really stick to it, and it's reusable. This is about the 5th time I've used this glove, and I haven't had to toss them, which is so nice because with the disposable nitrile gloves, I end up just going through them like hotcakes, and I just don't like that. It's a lot of waste, and I really want to reduce my waste. So there you go. There's a 3rd layer of this nautical wheel. I hope you really enjoyed this process video. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Please subscribe, that way you know when I post the next video. Have a good night. Bye.